Well, hi, I'm Mark Sorensen, and this is the first of 3 videos that we are calling Ed Talks, little play on culture there. I'm here with Dr. Robb, and we're just gonna share some conversations on succession, on transition, as we are both moving, ironically, into different seasons of ministry. So, Dr. Robb, I want to start in this first video and ask you this question. How did you grow this church? Like, what was it like being the senior pastor of a church for over 4 decades? Did you imagine this?
No. No. I came back. We were living in Lexington, Kentucky, and the bishop telling me this is where I was going to be sent. And I said to Bev, I think this is like Sun City, Arizona. I think it's going to be a big retirement community. Nothing could have been further from the truth, but I didn't know it at the time.
Wow. You know, you mentioned, I remember you sharing this once, that I think it was a professor, and he gave you some advice when it came to growing the church, and he used the word soul power. You remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
Share that.
Knowing that I was going to be sent here, I visited with our Methodist pastor, Dr. David Siemens. I asked Dr. Siemens for some advice he would give me. He said, what it's going to require is soul power. And I don't just mean S-O-U-L. Like, you're going to have to get out on the streets. You're going to have to knock on doors. Wow. And I took that to heart, and that's what we did. And our first building was just 10,000 square feet. We got houses out here that big, which is hard to imagine.
And I remember with this campus, this was the size of where we are now. We moved in here, right, in 2000?
Yes.
This was a big step, wasn't
2001.
it? Right. It was a big step.
Oh, it was an enormous step. I mean, the magnitude of that, I look back, I just cannot believe that we had lay people who were so courageous and forward-looking. I mean, they do the math, they do the numbers. These are not just close your eyes and hope. But it's like, yeah, we ought to do this.
What surprised you over these past 40 years?
Well, there was always a next. And the nature of this area was it was growing and growing. So I never felt stale or bored. And people talk about vision. Well, I feel flattered by that. I'm not sure that it was vision as much as just recognizing what really needed to happen next. And so it was always this juggling. So we had to grow the church in terms of numerically, new people. Then you have to help them grow in their faith, grow deeper. So grow wider, I guess, more people, grow deeper in your faith. And then you have to add facilities. So it's always, and it's like, you know, we've got to have that next building in order to keep growing.
It's incredible. If you could go back 40 years and where you are now, how would you encourage yourself 40 years ago?
I don't know that I encouraged myself. Lay people encouraged me. I do believe this church has been blessed with the very best, most positive-minded and uplifting lay people any pastor could hope to find anywhere.
Yeah. And
the success of this church is so largely was driven by good lay people.
So good. Is there a verse that you have that you love, a verse that's meaningful to you, especially in this season now?
Wow. Can you ask me that in the next Ed
I
Talk?
can. I can. You have a question for me? You know, when I came
Are you
here,
excited? Are you excited? I hope so.
I am excited.
Yeah.
I am excited. And you've just affirmed me, because I am also scared to death. There is a certain element of fear, but fear is not a bad thing.
Well, I'm saying this with 100% sincerity. I could not be more excited about you coming, and I just feel like we're in such good hands. Yeah, I'm glad you're excited as well. Well, Mark, I do have another question though, because this has occurred to me. If my task, if my role assigned was to, let's say, build a church, Yours is going to be to rebuild the church.
Right, right. This is a great place to say our next Ed Talk, I'm going to answer that question for real. And we hope you'll join us for the next
And
one.
I'll give you a favorite Bible verse.
There it is.